Welcome to the Sleepy Brain Dose. You're safe here. Breathe in and out, a gentle, even rhythm. Tonight we wander quietly through inventions that soften the night. Wheel, glass, print, transistor. No rush, no tasks. Just a calm voice. Soft darkness and time. When you're ready, close your eyes and let the story begin. As your breath settles into a gentle rhythm, we arrive in a quieter world. A time before wheels turned, before roads stretched far, when night held a soft darkness and days moved slowly. People wake with first light and rest when dusk returns. There is no clock to push or pull. The sky is the guide, the seasons the metronome. Spring opens, summer ripens, autumn gathers, winter folds. Work follows warmth and daylight. Rest follows shadow and chill. The village stirs like a slow tide, out to the fields, back to the hearth. You may notice your shoulders soften as you imagine that pace. No rush, no hurry. Only the body listening to the day. Footsteps are measured, voices low. The air is cool at dawn, then kind at noon, then gentle again as the sun lowers. Time is not a string of numbers, but a feeling in the skin, a rhythm under the breath. Roosters call, doors creak, buckets knock lightly against a well. Tools wait where they were left, not in a hurry to be lifted. A loaf is set near a window, a pot set over coals, a path swept once and then left to be. The day has edges you can touch, sunrise, shadow, supper, and the mind leans easily against those edges, as if against a wooden gate. Night gathers with tender edges. A small flame steadies the room. Faces glow in its circle. Beyond the doorway, the world is large, but not loud. Crickets, wind, a dog turning once, then still. The horizon draws close after dark, and that closeness feels like safety. Curtains, shutters, or simply a wooden door, a thin, trusted line between inside and outside. The mind understands the boundary and calms. Thought loosens. Story and quiet talk drift like embers, then fade. The fire lowers. The last pot cools. A chair is moved softly back. It is okay to let go here, to let the day settle, and the breath slow, and the eyes grow heavy. Blankets carry the faint scent of sun. Straw rustles gently under cloth. A cup of water waits within reach. The window reflects a small, warm room and hides the night beyond. The body knows this picture. It has known it for a long time. Warm, light, soft darkness, safe walls. Sleep approaches without being called. Days carry a balanced rhythm. In summer, long light invites early steps. In winter, short days invite slow mornings. There is a pause at midday, bread, water, a shaded place. The body knows when it has done enough. Hands loosen, backs ease. A task waits on a bench and does not demand. The pace is human, close to the ground. Carts are rare, loads are smaller. A basket today, another tomorrow. Muscles tire in a kind way, the way a walk tires, the way a small hill tires. At evening, warmth returns to the room. You may notice how the word enough feels, round and safe, when the day is finished. Children carry small jobs, and then drift into play. Someone mends a strap. Someone cleans a knife. Someone listens to the kettle breathe. The sun leans low. Smoke lifts in a narrow braid. Nothing hurries you. The day sets itself down, piece by piece, and leaves no sharp corners. Silence is part of the landscape, living between words and along rows of grain. There are few sudden calls, few sharp bells. Messages do not leap across valleys in a blink. News arrives with a person, and a person arrives with footsteps, and footsteps arrive at a gentle pace. Because of this, minds do not brace for shocks. They settle. They wander a little like clouds, and then return. At night the sky opens, and stars offer a slow language, patient, repeated, kind. You may notice the comfort of distance. The sky is near enough to admire, far enough not to press. Leaves trade whispers with a small wind. A barn door hums softly as it shifts. Water in a pail answers the dip of a ladle, and then is still. Silence is not empty. It is full of room. In that room, breath can spread out and soften. Distances are small. The circle of life is a few fields wide. A market waits 2 paths over. Water is a short walk. Friends are a voice across the lane. Travel is rare, and most nights end where they begin. This steadiness supports deep rest. No schedule to chase, no lantern to carry far into the dark. Feet learn the same stones in the same order, and the body trusts them. Even the dog knows the way home in the hush. When storms come, they pass. When harvest comes, it passes too. What remains is the habit of returning, the door that opens and closes softly, the bed that remembers your shape. Landmarks are simple. A willow by a bend, a smooth rock by a gate, the smell of hay as you near the barn. Each mark is a friendly sign, and each sign says the same thing. You are almost home. The world is slow, but it is not empty. It is full in a gentle way. Bread rises, wool dries. A child learns a story by saying it softly with an elder. There is work, and there is rest, and the scene between them is kind. Evenings gather everyone into a small circle. The floor warms. Stars turn above, like a wheel, but no wheel yet turns on the ground. Patterns repeat, day into night, moon into moon, season into season. Repetition calms. The mind loves a pattern that does not demand attention. It can drift along, then drift farther, then return when it wishes, safe, unhurried, held by the soft darkness. A hand smooths a blanket. A breath deepens. A candle is cupped, then dimmed. The future does not press at the window. The past does not pace in the hall. Only the present sits here, quiet and unafraid. Before wheels, time itself feels round. Months follow the moon. Weeks follow markets. Days follow chores that return like gentle tides. Roosters measure dawn. Smoke measures evening. Frost writes the same message on the same sill and waits to be read. There is ceremony in small acts. Tying a cord, closing a latch, banking a fire. These acts are not instructions. They are invitations, and the body accepts them. You may notice how repetition eases effort, how a familiar gesture quiets thought. Here, sleep is not a task to achieve. It is a place you arrive, the way you arrive at a doorstep you trust. You step in, set down the day, and feel the room. Hold you, steady, unbroken, safe. In a moment, we will let a circle begin to turn. A road will appear, then a journey. With the first wheel, movement will carry the day farther and teach the night a new kind of rest. We come from a still world into a moving one. The first circle turns, slow, steady, and a path becomes a road. Roads do not rush, they guide. A journey unfolds in gentle segments. Morning stretch, midday pause, evening rest. Milestones. Trees, cairns, a ridge on the horizon offer a soft sense of progress. You walk or you ride, and the wheel hums a low, even note. The day gains a simple structure. Start, stop, start again. Breath fits this pattern. In, out, in again, and the mind follows. You may notice how the idea of distance becomes friendly when it is counted in stages, not in numbers. A stage invites a promise of shelter, of water, of kind shade. Light leans across the road and changes its tone. Silver at dawn, warm at noon, amber toward evening. Feet and axles learn the surface. Dust, packed earth, a stretch of stones that asks for patience. When the sun dips, the last turn is taken. Without hurry, because the day has already taught a slower rhythm. The road itself becomes company, a line that keeps you oriented even when thoughts grow soft. When you pause, you face back the way you came for a moment, then forward again, and the heart understands both directions, return and continuation, as equally safe. Wagons appear, then caravans. Loads grow modestly, yet the burden on the back lightens. People share pace, shade, and simple stories. Work moves with them, but not against them. Wheels keep a quiet cadence. Hooves tap a soft metronome. The body learns this even beat and relaxes into it. Travel brings a kind of tired that is smooth, like water wearing a stone, not sharp, not harsh. When evening nears, plans are gentle and clear. Find level ground, unhitch, draw water, warm bread, let shoulders fall. Leather softens in the hand, rope unwinds. A pot settles over coals with a small sigh. Conversation thins to a murmur, then to friendly silence. In that silence, you may notice how effort drains away, as if through the soles of the feet into the quiet earth. The animals lower their heads and breathe in long, even draughts. Their calm lends its pace to human bodies. Hands smell faintly, of wood and grain, of dust and leather, and those scents anchor attention in the present. Close, manageable, kind safety gathers around the resting place. Way stations, small inns, and village greens hold circles of calm. There is a fence, a wall, or a hedgerow, a boundary you can trust. A lantern softens the edges. A cooking fire draws eyes to the center. Someone checks the harness, someone folds a blanket, someone pours water into a wooden bowl. Simple tasks complete themselves, one by one, until only quiet remains. Beyond. The light, the road is a darker ribbon, and that soft darkness protects the mind from wandering too far. Windows close. Animals settle. The last door latch finds its home. You may notice how the body loosens when the space is cared for, when there is order, warmth, and room enough to rest without guarding the edges. A bucket settles with a round sound near the door. Sleep places its hand on the shoulder and waits, unhurried. Soft darkness gathers in the corners like velvet, and nothing needs to be decided until morning travel teaches patience. Roads stretch longer than fields, and the clock of distance keeps its own peace. Some days ask for earlier rest. Others invite. A short nap at noon. A shaded tree becomes a small shelter. A bridge becomes a promise kept. It is okay to let plans breathe, because the road itself keeps time. Morning light to afternoon gold to evening blue. When weather shifts, the route bends without struggle. When a ford runs high, the pace slows, and that is all. Control turns gentler, more noticing, less forcing. Wayfarers learn to read the small signs. The wind in tall grass, the feel of firmer ground, the way swallows skim low before rain. Under this careful attention, worry has little to hold. It loosens, and sleep later finds an easy place to land. If a companion falls behind, the group's rhythm widens to include them. No scolding, no straying. Lessons are simple. Take water early, share shade, leave before the light fails. These gentle rules ask little and give much: steadiness, safety. Room to breathe. The wheel rocks you in a calm cradle. Its turning is steady, its sound low and round. The body answers this motion. A shoulder eases, a jaw unlocks, eyes soften. You might think of a child asleep in a cart, or an adult dozing, where the path is smooth. The rhythm is the same, a repeating curve, a reliable return. Muscles tire in a wholesome way, and rest arrives without being chased. At night, with the cart braked and the animals fed, the ground rises to meet the back. The sky opens just enough to show a few familiar stars, and the breath takes their tempo, slow, regular, kind. It is all right to let go here. The wheel has done enough for the day, and the body can do less. The small aches of the day spread out and thin, like ripples settling after a boat has passed. Dreams arrive already shaped by motion, curved paths, turning spokes, a horizon that approaches and then becomes home. With roads, people touch more places, yet the pace still honors the breath. Markets gather on regular days. Ferries cross at known hours. Bells or calls mark the opening and the close. Predictability becomes a gentle friend. You know where the next well is, the next shelter, the next turning tree. Maps are simple stories, told with the hand. A hill, a stream, a bend, and stories become maps for those who listen. Because of this, anxiety softens. The next stop is near enough, and the one after that can wait. Even the unknown feels shaped by the road's quiet. Logic, and the night, when it comes, belongs fully to rest, not to planning, not to haste. In the morning, you rise knowing enough, not everything, and that is restful. Directions are checked with a finger on a map, with a quiet question to a passerby, with a glance at where the sun stands. Each simple confirmation lowers the shoulders. Another small degree. Travel also weaves communities along the way. A baker learns the hour of the wagons and keeps a few loaves warm. A child watches for dust on the road and knows guests are near. A host remembers names and where they last headed. Songs carry the shapes of valleys and the counts of bridges. They are maps set to breath. At dawn, departures are unhurried. A last cup, a last check of straps, a last nod to the inn yard. At dusk, arrivals gather with the same softness. Greetings, water, rest. In this shared rhythm, the road becomes not only distance, but belonging, and belonging makes sleep deep and easy. We come from the open road to a place where the wheel settles. Here, the circle turns in one spot, water pushes, wind invites, and work begins to flow without haste. The mill stands by a stream or on a rise where the wind is steady. A wooden gate lifts, water gathers, then falls, and the wheel turns with a calm weight. Or sails catch the air and lean, slow and sure. The turning does not strain. It continues. Grain arrives in sacks, not on shoulders for long. The effort changes. Shape, less lifting, more guiding, more noticing. People stand a little taller at dusk because the wheel has taken the heaviest part of the day. You may notice how that thought loosens the jaw. A friendly tool working on your side, meeting you halfway, letting evening begin a little earlier. The sound here is a kind of hush with a heartbeat. Water folds over paddles. Thrum, hush. Thrum, and inside, wooden cogs trade a soft knock, then a sigh. In a windmill, canvas breathes, full, then gentle, and the gear train answers with a rounded murmur. This is not noise that asks for attention. It is a rhythm that gives. it back. Like rain far away, like a small river behind a wall, it steadies the breath and smooths the mind. The floor carries a slow vibration, safe, regular, a reminder that work is happening without rush. You may notice how the body likes such repetition. Eyes soften, shoulders drop, thoughts move in larger, kinder circles. Tiredness changes. Quality. It is shorter, lighter, cleaner, the kind that comes after walking rather than hauling. Hands guide the hopper, brush flour from a beam, tie a cord, check the stone. Muscles are used, but not asked to fight. Fatigue gathers gently in the edges, and then fades with rest. In the evening, letting go is easier, because the wheel has already done the steady work. Grain turned to meal, wind turned to turning. Flow turned to food. Supper is warm and simple. The day feels complete. It is okay to release what remains, the few small tasks that can wait until morning. A good tired greets a soft darkness, and the body hears the invitation. Because the mill carries weight, time can spread out. Work is no longer a single push. It becomes a sequence of calm checks. Lift the gate a little. Watch the feed. Listen for a change in tone. The stream sets a pace that is patient, faster in spring, slower in late summer, and people learn to move with it, not against it. Wind arrives in breaths. When it fades, other jobs step forward. When it returns, the sails answer. Control becomes gentler, like steering more than forcing. This changes sleep. There is less leftover struggle inside the body, less of the day that needs untangling. The mind can follow the same even curve the wheel has traced all afternoon. And that curve leads quietly toward rest. Even the rituals of care are calming. Oil the axle, a soft cloth, a careful hand. Brush the cogs, flour dust lifts and drifts like pale fog, then disappears. Close the sluice, the stream narrows to its night voice. Tie the sail, canvas relaxes, rope goes slack. Sweep the floor once, a circle that clears not only wood, but thought. These are small, certain acts that tell the senses. The edges are safe now. A door finds its latch. A window leans into its frame. The mill sleeps as a house sleeps. Present, steady, watchful. You may notice how these closures feel in your own body. A gentle finish line, a rhythm arriving at stillness dot around the mill, a quiet circle of life forms. Neighbors come by with grain and leave with meal. Greetings are soft, practical, friendly. A child learns to read the wheel's mood, when it is strong, when it is kind to pause. The place keeps a memory of seasons, meltwater days when the wheel is eager, crisp mornings when it turns like clockwork, dry weeks when it waits, and the village shifts to other tasks. This memory teaches patience. If today is slow, tomorrow may be generous. If the wind chooses to rest, hands choose to mend, to sharpen, to tend. The mind accepts this trade, and in that acceptance, night feels wider, safer. Plans exhale. Sleep meets a body that has practiced yielding without losing its rhythm. Evening gathers with simple signals. The feed runs low. The last sack is stacked. The wheel coasts, then settles. The stream keeps its smaller song. Windows warm. A loaf cracks softly as it cools. Flour stills in the air, and then is gone. Breath picks up the mill's lesson. Turn when turned, rest when resting, and carries it into the quiet. It is all right to let the day go here. The work has been held by something larger and steadier than one pair of hands. And that knowledge makes the darkness feel gentle and the bed feel sure. From the quiet mill, the turning wheel meets iron lines. The circle now sings along a track, and many days begin to share one calm rhythm. Timetables appear, simple grids of promise. A train at dawn, another at noon, one more at dusk. Station. Clocks agree with one another, and people find it easier to plan their rest. The day gains anchors you can trust. A whistle far away, a bell on the platform, a gentle voice naming places. You may notice how predictability eases the body. Shoulders settle, breath evens. There is comfort in knowing when things arrive and when they depart. You can let time hold you, rather than the other way around. A ticket folded in a pocket becomes more than paper. It is a quiet permission to stop waiting, to sit, to be carried. The line on the map is steady. Your thoughts can be steady too. Carriages are small rooms that move. A seat becomes a temporary home. A compartment holds. A few travelers in a soft arrangement. Window, bench, a hook for a coat. In sleeping cars, bunks fold down like calm decisions. Curtains draw, lamps dim, the corridor hushes. The narrow sway invites the body to release. A blanket waits. A pillow remembers the first shape of your head. The conductor's gentle knock. The soft click of a latch. The careful step on a carpeted floor. Each sound says that the night has rules meant for rest. There is enough space to stretch, enough light to read, enough darkness to sleep. You may notice how this balance feels kind, how it invites you to close your eyes without effort. The train offers a rhythm that rocks without demanding. Wheels. Meet rails in a repeating phrase. Even, round, unhurried. A bridge hums underfoot. A tunnel wraps the sound in velvet. Open country lets it float. This cadence is not loud. It is regular. It leaves room for thought to drift and return, like a tide that knows its path. The body answers with small adjustments. A sway of the spine, a release in the jaw, a slower blink. Many find that sleep comes here as it comes to a child in a moving cradle, not all at once, but in gentle steps. A page turns, then rests on a thumb. A sentence ends, and the next can wait. The train carries both the waking and the drowsing, and neither needs to hurry the other. Night travel can feel safe when the inside is warm and the outside is soft. In the compartment, a lamp draws a circle of gold. Beyond the glass, fields and towns pass in a quiet gray. You may see a farm light, a river glint, the slow pulse of a distant crossing, each a small sign that the world continues at a kind pace. The window becomes a trusted boundary. It lets your eyes wander while your body stays held. Shades can be lowered. Light can be softened. Shoes can be set neatly under the berth. The corridor breathes in low voices and careful steps, then settles. The timetable removes the need to watch the clock. You are carried toward a known hour, and that knowledge allows sleep to arrive first. Railways also gather people into a shared time. Strangers lift one another's bags, trade a nod, share a thermos lid as a cup. A parent soothes a child with a whisper that matches the rails. A guard folds a ticket with the ease of long practice. Platforms join cities and villages with simple, repeating gestures. A wave, a board, a door. Arrival and departure become gentle ceremonies. They are predictable, and so they are kind. You learn the pattern of your own route, the long straight. Near the river, the curve by the orchard, the slow roll into the terminal where the roof gathers sound. Each landmark signals almost there, and worry has nothing left to do. It loosens, and the breath follows. Travel by train teaches a peaceful measure of control. You choose your carriage, your seat by the window, your moment to close the book. After that, the system carries you. The timetable keeps the larger shape. You keep the small one. A blanket smoothed, a scarf folded, a gaze resting on the horizon. When delays happen, they are named and then absorbed. You are not alone in them. The platform's clock, the board's quiet update, the guards. Simple explanation. Each helps the body remain at ease. The train moves again, the line resumes, and your inner pace returns to match it. Steady, forgiving, safe. From the moving carriage, we keep one quiet companion, the pain beside the seat. Now we bring that calm surface home. A window becomes a gentle line between the world and our rest. Glass is a soft membrane for light. It lets the day enter without, the wind without the chill. Morning reaches in with a pale hand, then opens fully, then in the evening steps back. The room breathes with this slow exchange. Brightness in, warmth kept, noise softened to a murmur. You may notice how the eye relaxes when it looks through something clear and kind. No effort, no strain. The window receives the sky and returns it as a calm picture. Inside remains steady, protected. Outside remains close, but not pressing. The mind understands this arrangement and leans into it, like a shoulder to a trusted doorframe. A window is also a boundary you can trust. A pane, a frame, a latch, simple parts, steady purpose. Beyond the glass, the street continues. The garden shifts, the clouds drift. On this side, the table waits, the chair holds its place, the bed gathers its quiet. You may notice how safety collects in corners when edges are clear. Curtains soften lines, shades lower slowly, evening gathers in layers. Fabric, wood, glass, then night. The body reads these cues out study. It releases small tensions, jaw, brow, hands, as if the glass itself were smoothing them. The world can remain the world. You can remain here, in the room, at ease. Glass invites unhurried looking. Rain moves like threads on the pane, then becomes beads, then clears. Frost writes its quiet script and waits for light to read it. Leaves press a soft shadow that the sun gently rearranges through the day. The horizon stays a comfortable distance. You can notice weather without stepping into it. You can notice time without counting it. The eye travels out and back, a restful motion, like breath. When thoughts need a broad surface to pass across, the window offers it smooth and cool. When thoughts need to pause, the window holds them without echo, and they settle dot as evening comes. Glass helps the room keep warmth and hush. Drafts are turned away. Street sounds arrive softened. Footsteps, wheels, a door, then fade. Lamps pour a round pool of light over a page, a mug, a folded sleeve. The rest of the room falls into a friendly dusk, the kind that invites whispering and slow movements. It is okay to let plans end early. Shades come down with an even glide. The latch clicks with a small promise. The mind hears you are in, you are held, and answers by loosening. In the window, your reflection replaces the view. A reminder that the night belongs to the inside now, to the safe small world that waits for sleep. Windows give the evening a rhythm. At a certain hour, someone draws the curtains. At another, someone checks the latch. A lamp dims. A hallway light is left gentle, just enough to find water, to find the door. The body learns these cues. When light softens, breath softens. When edges fade, thoughts follow. You may notice how regularity helps. Not rules, not pressure, only a familiar sequence. The clock of the evening is written in light and shade, not in numbers. Each step makes the next easier. Close the day, fold. The blanket edge, smooth the sheet, turn the page once more, and stop. Caring for a window is itself a calm ritual. A cloth on the pane, circles that clear, circles that quiet the mind. A finger to the frame, wood warm, paint cool, both sure. In summer, the latch lifts and air slides through a narrow opening. In winter, the seal holds and heat stays. A small plant on the sill follows the sun. A bowl catches the last gold. A photo rests where day meets room. These are gentle arrangements that say, welcome to the light and rest to the dark. The bed stands nearby, close enough to feel the weather change, but not to be troubled by it. If a car passes, it is a soft line. If a night bird calls, it is a single note. The glass edits the world so kindly that even wakefulness feels unthreatening. And sleep, when it comes on quiet feet. Windows also teach patience. They show the slow work of clouds, the way rain begins as a suggestion, the way it ends by degrees. They show the tree that looks still, but is always breathing, a small stir in the leaves, a shift of light along the trunk. You may notice how the eye settles when it watches something steady and near. Vision stops reaching, it receives. Even the dust motes in a shaft of late light seem to speak a soft language, here, then there, then gone, and nothing urgent. In any of it, the room, held by glass, becomes a small climate of safety, where breath can lengthen and thoughts can thin and drift like those grains of light dot at night. The pane becomes a quiet mirror. It returns the room to itself. Lamps draw close. The rest fades into a kind darkness. This reflection is not for study. It is for reassurance. It says, everything is where it should be. The chair is still a chair, the door still a door. Your face is calm enough, even when the eyes are heavy. The day can end here. The latch can hold. The curtain can fall. Nothing waits outside that must be met now. The glass keeps watch with you for a short while, then with the room, then with the house. The steady surface is like a palm laid against. The night, firm, quiet, protective dot in the morning, the world returns through the same gentle boundary. The first gray, then blue, then the softest gold. The window does not hurry it. It simply allows. A hand draws the curtain back half a span, and a span more. Cool air may come in, or only light, and either is enough. You may notice that the day feels kinder when it arrives through glass, shaped, softened, invited. There is time to wake, time to stretch, time to breathe before tasks begin. The window, patient in both directions, keeps the room a place where sleep can end slowly and begin again later with ease. We stay with glass, but hold it closer, not as a wall to the world, but as a way to meet it gently, a lens for the eye, a vessel for time. A lens offers ease. It bends light in a kind way, so the page comes to meet you, and the world settles into focus without effort. Letters that once asked you to squint now rest quietly on the line. Edges soften where they should, sharpen where they help. You may notice how your forehead releases when sight is helped, not forced. Reading becomes unhurried again, a slow river of words, a steady breath between them. The eyes no longer chase clarity. Clarity arrives, and the mind follows. When seeing is easy, thinking is gentle, and gentle thinking invites rest. Lenses also open small worlds. A magnifying glass brings a leaf close enough to reveal its patient roads. A simple field scope lets a hill roll nearer. A telescope gives the moon a textured face and shows that even light has shadows. None of this needs naming or measuring. It is enough to notice the curve of a shell, the pattern of frost, the way a moth's wing, seen a little nearer, looks, like soft fabric laid over light. Looking this way is a quiet practice. It asks for nothing louder than breath. It gives a sense that the world is detailed and calm, and that calm detail steadies the heart. With lenses, the night sky becomes a friendly map. Stars that were a mist become a scatter of points, each with room around it. The eye relaxes into that arrangement. Bright, then space, bright, then space, and finds its own rhythm inside the pattern. A planet holds a steady note. A cluster hums with many small voices. A nebula is a soft cloud that refuses hurry. You may notice how the mind grows wide when it looks far in this quiet way. Worries shrink to the size of a pinhead, then to nothing at all. There is no urgency in a star. There is only presence, long and even, and that presence teaches your body to slow. Glass keeps time, too. In an hourglass, grains drift in a narrow fall. One, then one. Too many to count, but easy to feel. The flow is constant, round, forgiving. The upper bulb lightens. The lower grows full. The center remains a slender waist where nothing jams, only passes. Watching it is like listening to a steady breath. No tit, no snap, no demand. Just movement that continues at the pace it chooses. You may notice how your own pace adapts too. Shoulders drop, plans soften. The hourglass does not chase the future. It simply arrives there, grain by grain, and invites you to arrive the same way. Clocks with hands can be kind when their faces are simple and their voices are quiet. A slow sweep gives shape to minutes without dividing them into sharp edges. You glance, and instead of number shouting, you see a position. Here, then a little farther, then a little farther again. The circle never ends. It only returns. This circular time is friendly to sleep. It says, you can begin again. It says you have enough. In rooms where time is shown gently, evenings unfold like soft fabric, and nights loosen into a safe dark that does not need to be measured at all. The art of observing through lenses or along the fall of sand is mostly the art of letting things come to you. Sit by a window with a pair of simple reading glasses. Hold a page at a comfortable distance. Let the words meet the eyes instead of reaching for them. Or tip an hourglass and watch for a minute or two, not to track, but to feel how steady looks and feels. You may notice a quiet shift, less effort, more reception. The body often answers by lengthening the breath, by finding a kinder posture, by allowing the mind to wander and return without judgment. This is how glass helps sleep, not by command, but by easing the senses until rest becomes the easiest choice. When you set the lenses down, when the last grains gather in the lower bulb, the room feels different, rounder, slower, kinder. The eyes have worked with help, not alone. Time has flowed without pushing. The night is ready to hold you. It is okay to let go. After holding glass to the eye and watching time fall like sand, we turn to a quiet page. The printed word waits beside the bed, patient, steady, kind. A book on the knitstand is a soft invitation. The lamp makes a small pool of light, edged by a friendly dusk. The room is calm, the air slow. You open to a ribbon or a folded corner, and the page greets you without hurry. Lines sit where you left them. They do not flash or call. You may notice your breath, finding the pace of the sentences. In, out, turn. A gentle rhythm that requires nothing more. The cover warms to the hand. The spine creaks once, then settles. The mind, which has been wide all day, becomes narrow. In a good way, focused, easy, safe. Short chapters are a gift at night. Each one has a door that closes softly. An ending arrives without a cliff. You can stop anywhere, at a paragraph break, at a period, even in the middle of a line, and the story will hold your place without complaint. It is okay to let a page remain half-read if sleep comes first. The bookmark is a quiet promise, not a deadline. You may notice how the eyes grow heavier when they have small, certain places to rest. The mind likes a tidy pause. It recognizes the shape of enough for now, and it relaxes into it. Reading can be shared in calm ways. Apparent voices, simple tale. A partner reads a few lines aloud. A friend sends a poem on paper that you keep in the book as a leaf. The room gathers around the sound, soft, even, slow. The printed word helps everyone agree on a pace that is kind. No one needs to finish. No one needs to prove attention. The story is there to cradle the evening, not to quicken it. You may notice that the room itself seems to breathe, the lamp, the window, the quiet furniture, as if the house were also listening and growing still. Paper has its own language of calm. It makes a small hush when turned. It holds ink in. A way the eye trusts, steady edges, no dazzle, no glare. The margin gives room for a light pencil note, a star, a word, a date, and then forgets about it. The texture under the fingers is enough to keep you present without effort. The book has weight, but it is kind weight. It says, you are here. If your thoughts drift for a moment, the page does not mind. You return, place your finger where you left off and continue. The object itself, cloth, paper, thread, is a little anchor to the present, and anchors help sleep arrive. What we read at night can be gentle by design. A quiet essay, a nature piece that moves like a walk, a chapter from a familiar novel that you already love. Rereading is especially kind. The mind meets known turns and rests deeper because it does not brace for surprise. You may notice how calm it feels to meet a sentence you remember. There is recognition, and recognition is safe. Facts can be soft too. A small note about birds, a page on clouds, a simple history told like a conversation. The rule is simple. Choose words that keep your breath slowed out. The way you sit or lie can support the page and the body together. Pillows make a gentle shape behind the back. The book rests on your lap or a cushion, so hands can loosen. The lamp is low and warm, angled away from the eyes. A glass of water waits nearby. You read for a few minutes, or a few more, and then you pause. Perhaps you look up and notice the room, the soft corners, the steady window, the feeling that the night is kind. This pause is part of the reading. It lets the words settle. It lets your body understand that nothing urgent is here. Sometimes the eyes blur, or a sentence repeats itself. That is the book telling you it can keep watch now. You slide in the ribbon, close the cover, place it with a quiet tap. The lamp dips lower, or goes out. It is all right to stop in the middle. The story will be waiting where you left it, unchanged, unoffended. Your breath takes over the rhythm the page began. Shoulders soften, jaw loosens. The room holds its gentle darkness, and the night holds you. After the quiet comfort of home reading, the printed page offers something more. Gentle guidance about rest, passed hand to hand, night after night. Household guides and almanacs speak in soft voices. They suggest a warm drink, a short tidy. Of the room, a lamp turned low, small steps that invite the body to slow. Their language is kind, not strict. You may find it helpful, they say, to let the day end in simple order. A chair pulled back in place. A window cracked. For a breath of cool air. A blanket folded at the foot of the bed, not as a rule, but as a signal. These books set an evening rhythm you can trust. Finish what is near, dim what is bright, choose what can wait. You may notice how the mind settles when the page gives permission to do less. Printed diaries and sleep logs make noticing easy. A line for bedtime, a line for waking, a note about weather or work, nothing heavy, nothing judged. Over days, a pattern appears on paper the way a path appears in grass, by gentle repetition. Earlier nights after long market days. Deeper. Rest when the room is cooler. Quieter mornings when the last cup of tea was earlier. Seeing this shape outside your head is calming. It tells the truth softly. It lets you adjust without strain. A little sooner, a little darker, a little quieter, and then watch what changes. The page is patient. If an entry is missed, it simply waits for the next. Songbooks and small prayer books hold words that many mouths know. A lullaby written in a simple hand. A verse that circles back on itself. A blessing made of short lines. Repetition is the point. The mind relaxes when it recognizes the path. The same chorus returns like a steady tide, and breathing follows. You may notice how shared words soften a room. A child grows heavy while listening. An adult's shoulders drop while reading. These pages are not about belief or perfection. They are about belonging and rhythm, a safe set of sounds that carry everyone toward the same quiet shore. Pamphlets and posters once pinned in schools. Factories and clinics offered hints for a quiet night. The advice is plain and friendly. Keep evenings dim. Keep the room a little cool. Keep the hour regular when you can. Open a window if it feels good. Take a brief walk after supper. Set tomorrow's task list on paper so it leaves your head for the night. The tone is helpful, not harsh. No scolding, no urgency. Only practical steps that most bodies answer well. Even today, this printed calm still works. A page on the wall. A card on a knitstand. Simple reminders that protect the edges of sleep. Magazines and newspapers added the voices of many. Readers wrote letters about what helped. A warm bath, 10 slow stretches, a chapter of a gentle book. Columnists gathered these notes and passed them on. The wisdom was local and human. One town swore by a window cracked open. Another by a cup of milk with a pinch of nutmeg. Many by a regular bedtime that moved only with the seasons. Recipes were small and kind. Chamomile steeped a few minutes. Honey stirred without hurry. A slice of bread to keep the night steady. You may notice how your body softens when advice arrives this way. Not from a command, but from a neighbor. Printing also made room for quiet science written in everyday words. Little handbooks explained light and dark, work and rest with gentle metaphors. Day as tide, night as harbor. They encouraged simple experiments. Dim lamps an hour earlier for a week. Step outside at dusk and watch the sky change. Write one sentence of gratitude before bed. None of this demanded perfection. If a night was restless, the page suggested patience. Try again tomorrow, as seasons try again after storms. Over time, these soft ideas changed homes. Curtains grew heavier, lamps grew warmer. Bedrooms held less noise and more air. There is comfort in a ritual written down. A card by the bed that says, close the day, warm your hands, dim the light. Read one page, breathe 10 slow breaths. You can follow. It or not, the card is a friendly invitation, not an order. The act of reading it is part of the ritual. Eyes move steadily. Breath follows. The card can include one gentle exit. If sleep comes, let the page wait. Knowing that stopping is allowed makes stopping easier. You may notice how this soft structure catches you when thoughts would otherwise spill. Printed wisdom also travels well. A booklet can live in a coat pocket. A clipping can rest in a wallet. A poem can be taped inside a cupboard door. When the evening is busy or the mind is full, these small papers return you to a kinder pace. They are like portable windows, clear, simple, steady, that you can look through for a moment to remember the shape of rest. Libraries and second-hand shops lend the same kindness at a larger scale. A book passed from one set of hands to another gathers calm the way fabric gathers scent, faint, familiar, reassuring. Sometimes the most helpful page is the one you write yourself. A personal lullaby of routine, a few lines long. At 9, the lamps go low. At 9:30, the kettle speaks. At 10, the page closes. You can change the words with the season. You can let the script be imperfect. The page does not mind scratches or rewrites. What matters is the feeling. The night has a path. It begins before the bed. It begins with light and breath. Once written, the path becomes easier to walk, again and again, until the body knows it without looking. Of this printed calm shares one promise. You are not alone in learning how to rest. Many have watched the same evening settle, have tried the same gentle steps, have found their own small way through the soft darkness. Their notes need yours on paper. Together, they make a map that does not rush, a map you can follow with your eyes half closed. From the printed page on the knit stand, a small voice arrives. Not on paper now, but in the quiet shape of a bedside radio, close to the pillow, close to the breath. A transistor set is simple company. A palm-sized box, a rounded dial, a single speaker that speaks softly to the room. You turn the knob a little, just enough, and a low murmur finds its place. Words arrive as if from the next room, gentle and regular, with spaces between them. You may notice how the body understands this nearness. Shoulders ease, eyes grow slower, the jaw unlocks. The radio does not ask to be watched. It offers presence without demand. A companion who sits nearby nods and lets silence carry most. Of the weight, the antenna slides out, a finger's length, then back in, as if the night itself were enough to hold the signal. Between voices, there is a soft bed of sound. Not silence, not noise, something in between. A faint hiss, a bow. Small sea, a ribbon of air that never quite stops. This undercurrent acts like steady rain far off, round, even, forgiving. The mind can rest on it the way a boat rests on water. A little rise, a little fall, always returning. Faint station drift becomes a gentle wave. When the signal brightens, it is like moonlight through a passing cloud. You may notice your breath taking the radio's pace, unhurried, repeating, kind. Nothing jumps. Nothing startles. The room fills with a low continuity that makes worry feel like a shape too sharp for this place. And so it softens. Evening programs often move at the speed of sleep. A plain forecast, read in level tones. A story told without rush. A host who leaves long, friendly pauses after a caller speaks. The sentences are short, the image is simple. Calm seas, light wind, temperatures easing overnight. The words do ordinary work, naming what is near, what is next, and ordinary is restful. Predictable segments return like landmarks on. A familiar walk, news at the hour, a poem, a brief note about stars, a song introduced and allowed to finish. You may notice how predictability feels safe. When you know what returns, attention loosens its grip. The mind does not brace. It wanders, and wandering is welcomed. The small controls are a comfort. Volume, tuning, on, off. Nothing more than needed. Fingers learn the exact quarter turn that makes the speaker a whisper. A small nudge to the right sharpens the voice. A small nudge back lets it blur into tone. This gentle control is soothing, not power, but permission. You can let words remain words, or let them dissolve into shapes of sound. It is okay to lower the dial until syllables are only contours, like distant talk through a wall. Agency, even this small, reduces watchfulness. The body hears. You decide when enough is enough, and answers by resting deeper. A bedside radio turns routine into ritual. It stands in the same place, its cord or battery ready, its plastic warm from the day. At dusk, the set is checked with one quiet click. Working, yes, and then left until the hour comes when the lamp dims. The hand reaches out, the knob turns, and the room rearranges itself around the voice. The bed becomes a listening place. The ceiling becomes a gentle sky. The past folds up. Tomorrow is still outside the door. You may notice how the device marks the edge between doing and being. Once it is on, there is nothing to perform. You are carried, not far, not fast, only as far as the next sentence, the next breath. Companionship arrives without the weight of conversation. The radio speaks and asks for nothing back. It keeps you company in wakeful minutes, and it keeps you company in sleep. If you stir, the same level tone is there, unchanged, patient, like a lighthouse seen between slow waves. This constancy reassures the part of the mind that listens for trouble. It hears only order, a presenter returning from the break, a station name, another calm paragraph. You may notice how the body lets go when there is nothing to guard. The room feels held. Soft darkness gathers against the window. The voice draws a small circle of gold within it, and everything outside that circle is allowed to be quiet. Our ADIO also shortens distance. A harbor's weather, a farmer's early morning, a reader counting stars above a different town, all step into the room, speak briefly, then step out again. These far places feel near, but not pressing. They do not crowd the bed, they expand it. The world seems larger and safer at once, a network of steady voices looking after their corners of night. You are part of that network by doing nothing, more than listening. When you tire, you drift. When you wake, you rejoin. The program continues whether you attend or not, and that acceptance, that permission to come and go, is deeply restful. Turning the radio off can be as gentle as turning it on. A slow twist, a soft click, the after quiet. The ear remembers the murmur. The room holds its shape without it. The mind, already slowed, continues at the lower setting. A few thoughts, then fewer, then none worth keeping. If the set stays on, it fades naturally as sleep thickens. If it goes off, the silence feels like a blanket drawn 1 inch higher. Either way, control remains kind and easy. You may notice that there is no right way here. Only what steadies the breath, what feels safe, what lets the night unfold without effort. From the small radio near the pillow, the same circuits learn to carry light. A picture appears where a voice once rested, gentle if we let it be, a window we can soften with simple choices. A screen is a little lamp. It can be bright and quick, or dim and slow. At night, the kindest path is soft light, low contrast, steady pace. You may notice how the face relaxes when brightness falls and colors warm. Edges stop shouting, Details stop tugging at the eyes. Distance helps too. And arms length, shoulders dropped, the head supported. The picture becomes a quiet guest, not a spotlight. It is okay to let the room stay mostly dark, with the screen as a small island of glow. The body reads this arrangement and loosens. Modern devices carry gentle tools. Night modes warm the palette. Reading modes calm the layout. Auto brightness learns the room and steps down without fuss. You can invite these helpers in once and let them keep watch every evening. Fonts can grow larger, margins wider, motion reduced. You may notice that when the image stops jumping, thoughts stop jumping too. If color feels busy, grayscale offers an easy stillness. Without bright hues, the mind stops scanning for novelty and settles into simple forms. These settings are small acts of care. After they are set, they ask for nothing more. What we watch and how quickly it moves matters more than how long it lasts. Choose slow scenes, long shots, quiet angles. A nature stream where nothing is explained. A fireplace. A harbor at night with steady water and patient lights. Subtitles without pressure can be kinder than fast talk. The eyes find a pace and the breath follows. You may notice a comfort in endings that are soft, a loop that returns, a chapter that closes without a hook, a scene that rests on a horizon and stays there. The goal is not distraction. It is gentle company. Audio can be softened too. Many shows carry more sound than they need at night. Lower the volume until voices become shapes. Or choose tracks mixed for bedtime. Slow narration, wide pauses, few highs. If music is present, let it be background, not a lead. The device's reduce loud sound switch can keep sudden peaks from waking the room. You may notice that your shoulders release when there are no surprises, only a level field of tone. Silence between lines is welcome. It gives breath a place to land. Notifications are daylight creatures. They hunt attention. At night, they can rest. Do not disturb can be a nightly ritual as simple as a lamp dimming. Badges can hide. Banners can wait. The world can finish its sentences tomorrow. Download what you plan to watch or read, then slip into airplane mode. The screen becomes a book again, present, quiet, offline. You may notice how quickly vigilance drains away when nothing new can arrive. The mind stops guarding the door dot with the screen sleeps matters. A small dock across the room, a charging tray by the door, a gentle last light spot on a shelf. Any of these can become a friendly boundary. When the device rests there, the bed returns to being a place for bodies, blankets, and the young, soft rhythm of breath. If you do bring a screen to the pillow, consider a time or a cue for ending. When the mug is empty, when the chapter ends, when the eyes blur twice. The point is not strictness. It is a tender hand on the shoulder that says enough for tonight. Some screens are already calm by nature. E-ink glows little or not at all. Words sit still, pages turn without flair. A dim tablet with a sepia page can be nearly as kind if motion is low and brightness is softer than the room. Generous line spacing, large type, and quiet margins reduce effort. The eyes travel shorter distances and tire less. Every so often, you might let the gaze drift to a distant, dim corner, a tiny stretch for the eye's own muscles, and then return. You may notice how this simple pause lowers the weight behind the brow. The hands can help the eyes. Prop the device so wrists can rest and the neck stays long. Tilt the screen slightly down. Let the chin follow. Fewer muscles working means fewer signals of wakefulness. If you like, match the picture's pace with a simple breath. In for the seans. Slow pan across a field, out for the slow fade to night. This is not a method to master. It is a small game of harmony, image and breath moving together until the breath is all that remains. Endings are gentle when they are chosen. A lid closes, a case folds, a button dims to black. The afterimage on the mind is soft, a horizon, a lantern on water, a page that became a gray field. It is okay to stop mid-scene. The scene will wait. Place the device in its resting spot. Let the room reclaim its shape. The quiet you kept inside the picture can now fill the air around you. Wider, slower, kinder. From softened screens and low voices, we step toward tools made only for rest. Small helpers that keep a calm rhythm, so your body doesn't have to. White noise is a gentle floor. A soft fan, a hush like wind in leaves, a deeper brown tone that feels round and steady. Each makes a safe edge for the night. The sound should be low, almost felt rather than heard. You may notice your breath drifting to match it, even in, even out, as if the room itself were breathing with you. Nothing rises suddenly. Nothing asks for attention. The texture is continuous, patient, kind. If you prefer, a simple loop of rain or distant surf can do the same work. Let it be plain. Let it be slow. Let it be easy to forget. Timers can help. Sound fade away. A gradual 30 to 40-minute fade, not an abrupt stop, lets the ear release without a jolt. Many devices can do this with one button. If yours cannot, the volume wheel turned down by hand does the same work little by little. It is okay to let the sound remain all night if that feels safer. You decide the level, the length, the tone. Small choices like these reduce watchfulness. Agency tells the body, nothing unexpected is coming, and the body answers by relaxing. Light can be gentle technology too. A sunrise lamp lifts the room from darkness, with warm amber first, then a soft gold. The change is slow, 10, 20, 30 minutes, like dawn through a thin curtain. Eyes open without hurry. Shoulders stay low. In the evening, the same lamp can dim in steps, leaning toward firelight tones. Curtains join the ritual, half drawn, then drawn, and the room understands. You may notice how your mind follows. Light like a tide follows the moon. Out, then back, soft and regular. Temperature is a quiet lever. A degree or two cooler at night. A thin current of air. A blanket with steady weight. These small settings signal sleep without words. A silent fan can move air without brightening the room. A heavier duvet can calm restless limbs. If the bed runs warm, a breathable sheet or a cool pillow cover can restore ease. None of this needs measurement. It is enough to notice comfort and inch toward it. The body loves a stable climate, not too hot, not too cold. And once it finds it, the breath deepens. Trackers can be kind when they observe rather than judge. A simple watch that records sleep in broad strokes. A ring that gives a quiet morning summary. Or a page on the nightstand with one line for lights out and one line for wake. The goal is noticing patterns, not chasing scores. Weekly shapes help more than nightly grades. You may notice that when numbers are gentle, habits are gentle too. If checking the data at bedtime wakes the mind, set devices to sleep view off at night. Let them watch while you rest, and read their whisper in the morning, or not at all. Automation can turn a routine into a single soft gesture. A goodnight scene that lowers lights, closes shades, mutes notifications, starts a low sound, and sets an alarm, all with one press. Set it once, then let it repeat every evening. The point is not complexity. It's fewer steps in the hour when you are unwinding. You may notice how relief follows simplicity. One button, one motion. After that, you are free to move slowly through. The room without decisions. Placement matters. Devices sleep best in places that don't touch the pillow. A small dock across the room. A lamp switch easy to reach without sitting up. A noisemaker on a shelf. Pointed away so the sound washes the space rather than the ear. If a phone must stay nearby, face it down or slip it into a fabric sleeve that mutes its light. If it can rest outside the room, let it. The bed becomes a place for bodies and blankets again. No screens, no alerts, only the soft rhythm of breath that make off-ramps as kind as on-ramps. A physical button to silence an alarm, not a puzzle to solve. A lamp that remembers its last dim setting. A sound machine with a single knob rather than many menus. In the middle of the night, fine motor tasks feel large. Keep motion simple. Press, slide, turn. You may notice how much calmer wakefulness feels when every tool around you behaves like a quiet friend, predictable, forgiving, ready to wait. Gentle redundancy protects the night. If power fails, a small battery in the VA. Clock keeps the time. If the internet drops, stored playlists still play. If the phone is off, a mechanical alarm can take a turn. Safety comes from knowing nothing crucial depends on a single thing. Once that knowledge settles, the part of the mind that keeps watch can rest. The room is prepared. You are prepared. The night can proceed without your supervision. All these tools serve one purpose: to lower effort. They shape the air, the light, the sound, and then step out of the way. You may notice that the best technology becomes invisible when sleep begins. There is nothing to manage. There is only a soft darkness, a steady rhythm, and the feeling of being held. From the quiet tools that cradle rest, we look back along the road we've taken. A gentle line appears. Movement, light, word, voice, each step teaching the night to be safe. That first comes the wheel. A circle that turns, then turns again. Until the day learns stages. Begin, pause, arrive. On roads, distance becomes friendly. On mills, effort becomes shared. You may notice how this simple motion still lives in your breath. In, out, a journey with a quiet middle. The lesson is steady pace. When life moves in rounds instead of jolts, sleep finds an easy way in. No chase, no force. Only a rhythm that returns and returns and returns. Then glass. A boundary you can trust. By day, it welcomes light without. The draft. By night, it holds a soft darkness with warm edges. Windows protect and invite. Lenses bring the far close without strain. Time itself grows kind when sand falls in an hourglass, grain by grain, or when a hand circles a dial and comes home again. Glass teaches clarity without pressure. It says, see gently, measure gently, be gently. You may notice your eyes soften, just imagining that even surface, cool, smooth, patient. After light and focus, the printed word enters the room. Paper carries calm. It offers short chapters, tidy endings, pages that remember where you left them. Wisdom travels in small books and friendly pamphlets. Evening rituals, kind reminders, simple experiments. Diaries let patterns appear outside. Your head, where they are easier to meet with care. The page teaches permission. To pause, to stop midline, to try again tomorrow. You may notice how your shoulders lower when a story ends softly, and nothing insists you continue. Voice follows. Print, a transistor by the bed, a whisper near the pillow. The world becomes near without being urgent. A steady presenter, a slow forecast, a poem with air around its lines. Between words, a low sea of sound, not silence, not noise, something round and regular that helps the breath find its level. Small controls become small kindnesses. A quarter turns softer, a notch toward warmth, a click to rest. The lesson here is companionship without demand. You are accompanied, not summoned. Dot-lighted pictures arrive next, and we learn to keep there. Glow gentle. Night modes, larger type, slower cuts. The screen becomes a tame lamp, not a storm. You may notice how the mind calms when colors dim, when frames linger, when nothing tries to catch you. The device can live across the room, like a candle, on a shelf, or turn into a quiet book with airplane mode. Technology bows to the hour. It speaks in low tones or waits with its face down, while the room takes its natural shape. Finally, the tools made only for sleep, even sound. Dawn-like light, cooler air, a blanket with steady weight. Routines collapse into one simple gesture. Notifications rest. The bed keeps only bodies, breath, and the soft work of the night. Measurements, if any, become morning notes, broad strokes, kind summaries. Nothing judges. Nothing rushes. The system holds you the way rails hold a train. Smooth, predictable, so your body can let go of the controls. Seen together. These inventions are not separate chapters. They are one long exhale. The wheel teaches pace. Glass teaches gentle. Boundaries and focus. Print teaches endings you can trust. The transistor teaches presence without pressure. Modern helpers teach ease. Fewer steps, fewer edges, fewer surprises. Each layer supports the next, like blankets stacked just right. You may notice how this whole map feels circular, not linear. A loop that begins with motion and returns to stillness. Again and again. In your own evening. This map can be small. A slow task, dishes, a short walk, a brief tidy for the wheel's rhythm. A window half drawn, a lamp dimmed, for glass. One page, or a card with 3 soft steps, for print. A low voice, or a hush of rain, for transistor. A simple scene or white noise, a sunrise alarm, a cooler sheet. For quiet tech. None of it needs to be perfect. Each part is a gentle nudge toward safety, toward softness, toward sleep. If the day was loud, you can still enter anywhere. Start with light, dim it. Or with sound, lower it. Or with motion, slow it. The map does not mind where you begin. It only asks that you keep the turns small, the choices kind, the pace human. Over time, these easy choices gather like sand in the lower bulb, steady, reliable, until the night knows what to do, even when you don't think about it. Then, when the hour comes, there is less to decide. The window holds the dark. The page knows your place. The voice is level. The devices are already resting. The room is a safe harbor. The bed a quiet shore. You may notice the simplest rhythm of all, breath, rising and falling under everything. We have described. It is enough. It has always been enough. Let the map fold itself and slip into the drawer. Let the room keep watch. Let the night be only night, soft, unhurried, yours. This was the Sleepy Brain Dose. If sleep is here, let it hold you. If you're still awake, it's okay. One slow breath and rest in the quiet. The map remains. Movement, light, word, and sound ready for tomorrow. For now, let the room keep watch, and let the night be only night. Good night.